Assalamualaikum, my name is Siti NORHASLINDAWATI, BINTI Mazin. Firstly, I will explain about the company background. Our group company's name is 22nd Century BHD. 22nd Century BHD is the pioneer and largest 24-hour stand-alone convenience store operator in Malaysia. 22nd Century BHD is a non-operating investment holding company which has been made listed on the main market of Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad since 2014. Our company has been implemented on 5th March 1990. 22nd Century BHD, which has made our mark in the retailing scene and remained a prominent icon for over 32 years. Our company vision is to be the best retailer of convenience that along with our mission, which is to consistently serve the changing needs of customers for their convenience.
My name is NORHASLINDA binti ADNAN and I will explain about factors to consider having a segment reporting. There have 5 factors to consider having a segment reporting. The first one is the nature of product or service. The second one is nature of production process. Third, type of class of customer. Fourth, method used to distribute product or service. And last, the nature of regulatory environment. The first one, in our business, we have convenience store will continuously deliver a seamless shopping convenience and experience across our existing network. In our endeavor to retain our market share and competitive edge, we have successfully launched our 22nd Century Cafe. For pharmaceutical segment, we sell household product that genuinely wants to shape an ethical, professional pharmacy practice in Malaysia. Second, the nature of production process. Involved in operating of supply chains with partnership growth, purchase commitment and product awareness. Product safety and quality involved to building and maintaining trust and confidence for customer. We also establish 22nd Century quality and food safety standard. Not only that, listing company were established to screen all offered product to ensure compliance with NPRA regulation for medical product. The third one is type of class of customer. The main target segment are adult and youths between age from 18 to 40 years, working people or family whom have no time to go supermarket to buy grocery, and children because they are attracted to freebies and candies. Fourth, in line with national agenda, we have embraced technology and innovation as major strategic tool for development. We are transitioning to a digitalization, allowing on-demand availability. We have also have physical and online stock. Last but not least, we have the nature of regulatory environment. In our business, we comply with ethics and transparency, 3R Recycling Initiative, MAL Food Act 1983, Food Advertisement Regulation 2013, National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Agency, Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Point HACCP, and last, good manufacturing practice. Moving on to the type of segment. In 22nd Century BHD, essentially involved in operation of convenience store, pharmaceutical and other, which consists of cafe and logistics segment. The first segment is convenience store. Convenience store is operating and franchising of convenience store under 22nd Century brand name, which offer a range of grocery and food items. The second one is pharmaceutical segment. Pharmaceutical segment is the operating chain of pharmacy under Love Care Pharmacy brand name, which is retailing pharmaceutical, healthcare, and personal care product. Our new cafe launch at the end of 2021 bring a refreshed concept which much improve product offering and better in-store shopping experience. In 2021, we successfully launched our second distribution center in Senar, Johor to better serve our store in the southern region of the Peninsula Malaysia. A function that allocates resource and assists the performance for the operating segment and it is individual or group of individual, we call as Chief of Decision Making or CODM. Responsibility for CODM is, the first one is to evaluate the performance of different segments. Second one, identify the nature of business as a service. Third, to determine the existence of manager accountable for business activity. And lastly, to allocate resource to the segment. In 22nd Century Berhad, the Chief of Decision Making consists of the first one, Chief Executive Officer Dato Sri Ayub bin Che Bakar. The second one, Chief Operating Officer Dato Zulkhairi bin Haji Abdul Ghani. Third, Senior Management Team. Fourth, Board of Director, which consists of Independent Non-Executive Chairman, Managing Director, Executive Director, and Independent Non-Executive Director.
Next, we move to the identification of reportable and non-reportable segment. The process to identify reportable and non-reportable segment is based on MFRS 8, where an entity requires to use a certain amount of judgment in determining the operating segment of the company by conducting the 10% threshold test and 75% total revenue requirement. The operating segment are to be disclosed separately and as classified as a reportable segment if it meets at least 10% of the threshold test and 75% total revenue requirement. There are three methods of 10% test, which are revenue basis, profit or loss basis, and asset basis. Meanwhile, for the 75% test, they will only be conducted based on a revenue basis of 10% threshold test to determine whether the segment exceeds 75% or not. For our company, 22nd Century Berhad, we will use the revenue basis of the 10% threshold test as well as 75% in identifying an operating segment of the company. The 10% threshold revenue basis is evaluated by measuring the total reported external and internal revenue over the total revenue of all operating segments. Based on the annual report, the total of external and internal revenue is Rm 2,565 and 43 is used to measure 10% threshold of the company. Since there are 5 operating segments of 22nd Century Berhad, the 10% test resulted in 4 reportable segments and 1 non-reportable segment. As per calculation, the reportable segments are convenience store, pharmaceutical, cafe, and logistics are produced 39.39%, 38.9%, 10.23%, and 10.78% respectively, while the non-reportable segment is other operating, which is 0.7%. From the calculation of 10% test of revenue basis, the 75% test is conducted by dividing the total external revenue of reportable segment of Rm 2,547,173 with total external revenue of all operating segment Rm 2,565,043. The result of test is 99.3%, which exceeds 75%. Therefore, the existing reportable segment will remain and no additional segment should be reported.
This is a new segment reporting that we have constructed after do the 10% and 75% threshold test. In this segment reporting, there are consists of 2 segments which are reportable operating and other reportable operating. Under reportable operating segment, there have convenience store, pharmaceutical, cafe, and logistics, and the balance is all other reportable operating segment. This report prepared are indicated to show the total revenue, profit for the year, total asset, total liabilities of 22nd Century Berhad. The total revenue amounted to 2,565,043 that consists of external and internal revenue. For profit for the year or profit after tax amounted 412,648. Next, for total assets is 3,606,236. Meanwhile, for total liabilities, 27,300. The last part for part A is conclusion. I will explain about the advantages and disadvantages of segment reporting. There are few advantages, which is transparency. It is referring to about the separating profitable segments. Segment reporting can indicate which parts of a company's operation are profitable and which are drains on the bottom line for companies that operate in various market segments or geographical regions. A change in strategic direction may result if segment reporting reveals that a company's overseas operations are more profitable than its domestic operations. If done correctly, it prevents management from heading unsuccessful business projects. Second advantage is improved context. Segment reporting also provides stakeholders with a better understanding of the fluctuation that may affect overall numbers. If a company reports significantly higher earnings than expected, segment reporting reveals where those earnings are coming from. A stakeholder can examine the same report to see if the figures are sustainable. It is intended to assist investors in better understanding the company and its potential cash flow. The third advantage is more effective decision-making process. Segment reporting assists in the decision-making process by providing useful information to investors and creditors, allowing them to make a good investment decision. The final advantage is that it provides a better understanding. Segment reporting provides a better understanding of the company's performance, seeing as users can successfully evaluate information about the company's various segments. First disadvantage is the emphasis on the present. Short-term numbers can be overemphasized in segment reporting. For example, a company may establish a separate division for its online work. Before the right people and infrastructure are in place, that division could run a significant deficit. If the company's overall performance outweighs these losses, they may not be reflected in the financial statement. However, separating those numbers as the data point through segment reporting can put pressure on management to reduce those losses in order to boost short-term earnings. The second disadvantage is the manipulation of data. If the information is presented in the true management eyes format, segment reporting tends itself to data manipulation. This gives company leaders more consideration in determining how segments are built and what metrics are reported. Managers may group business with different business models together. It can also cherry-pick metrics to communicate with stakeholders.
Next is the basis of preparation of the interim report. Generally, there are two methods for a company to choose from, which is the integral method and discrete method. If a company uses an integral method, it means that the interim report is only a fraction of annual report and it is used to predict and explain the financial information for that full financial year. Meanwhile, if a company uses discrete method, this means that the interim period is a distinct and separate period from the annual cycle. They can be used to predict and explain the financial information in the financial statements for that discrete period. In case of 7-Eleven Holdings Berhad, they are choosing and using the discrete method as it is said in their significant accounting policy. Then continue on, what I mean by accounting policies that have been used by the company is in case of MFRS 102 inventories. What it means by inventories are the trading goods and consumables that being used or held in the company. As being stated in their accounting policy, the inventories are stated at level of net realizable value and also cost. What I mean by net realizable value is the value that represents the estimated selling price minus estimated cost necessary to make the sale. Or what it means by cost is the invoice value plus any incidental expenses. Next significant accounting policy that have been stated by 7-Eleven Berhad is the borrowing cost, which is MFRS 123. Borrowing costs are capitalized as part of the cost of the qualifying asset if they are directly attributable to the asset. Directly attributable to the asset means whether they are involved in acquisition of the asset, construction of the asset, or production of the asset. They also state that all other borrowing costs, such as interest and other costs that the group incurred in order to get financing, are recognized in the statement of profit or loss in the period they are incurred. What it means by that statement means that they are using discrete method. It is stated that capitalization of borrowing costs commences when, firstly, the activities to prepare of the asset for its intended use or sale are in progress and the expenditure and borrowing costs are already incurred. Second is the borrowing costs will be capitalized until the assets are substantially completed for the intended use or sale. Going further ahead, there is a different types of interim reporting. However, in the first place, there is no standards or MFRS specifically that mandates which entities have to publish interim reports. However, Bursa Malaysia Berhad requires all entities that publicly traded their securities need to publish the interim reporting. Bursa Malaysia Berhad specifically said that entities that publicly traded their debt, equities, and securities need to publish a quarterly interim reporting, while in the case of half-yearly interim reporting, they are only required for unit trusts. When an entity chooses to publish
and interim reporting, the standards allow the company to choose two options whether to publish a complete set of financial statement as according to MFRS 101, and the second option is to publish a condensed set of financial statement, which many companies choose to publish.
Now, the period of current and comparative of each statement is prepared by 7-Eleven Berhad as the accounting period year end at 31st December each year. Based on MFRS 134, for the statement of comprehensive income of 7-Eleven Berhad, the current interim reporting period is 3 months from 1st April 2022 until 30th June 2022. Cumulative year to date is 6 months from 1st January 2022 until 30th June 2022. Comparative current interim is 3 months from 1st April 2021 until 30th June 2021. And comparative year to date is 6 months from 1st January 2021 until 30th June 2021. For the statement of financial position, the current interim is 3 months from 1st April to 30th June 2021, and the comparative period end of year, which is from 1st January 2021 to 30th December 2021. Next, for the statement of changes in equity, the current interim reporting period is 6 months and reporting date is 1st January 2022 to 30th June 2022, while the comparative period end of the year is from 1st January 2021 to 30th December 2021. Last but not least, for the statement of cash flow, both the current interim and comparative period end of the year is 6 months, from 1st January 2022 to 30th June 2022 and 1st January 2021 to 30th June 2021 respectively. For adjustment 1, based on MFRS 116, the carrying amount of an item of property, plant and equipment should be derecognized in two ways, whether on disposal or there is no economic benefit to that particular plant or property and equipment. Derecognize also requires removing both the gross carrying amount and the accumulated depreciation. Next, why 7-Eleven should dispose of one of their property, plant and equipment, which is furniture. It is because if the furniture is outdated, obsolete or no longer used by 7-Eleven Berhad, it can affect the operating activities of the company, which is inefficient in the operating activities. By disposing of the old asset, 7-Eleven can replace the asset with a new one that brings more revenue and more value to 7-Eleven Berhad. Not only that, but it also resulted in an increase in profit as the new asset will be used in operating activities. We assume one of the furniture will be disposed of by 7-Eleven Berhad. The adjustment will be on 1st January 2022, 7-Eleven Berhad furniture and fittings is costing 614,312,000 with its accumulated depreciation amounting to RM453,664,000. The company depreciates its furniture and fitting on a straight line basis and the useful life is 10 years. On 1st June 2022, 7-Eleven Berhad decided to dispose of one of its furniture with a carrying amount of RM157,000 for a profit of RM52,000. The furniture was initially purchased by the company at a cost of RM177,000. So it will result in an increase in profit of 7-Eleven Berhad at RM52,000. The accumulated depreciation for furniture and fitting also will be reduced as the asset will be disposed of. It will result in increase in statement of profit or loss since there will be an additional of revenue and decreasing on depreciation. We will see the difference in the statement of profit or loss at the last slide.
Next, for adjustment 2, 7-Eleven Berhad should change from operating to finance lease because with finance lease at the end of lease term, it can transfer the ownership according to the MFRS 16. It will also can reduce tax expenses and a finance lease is much more suitable to lease assets that will be used in the long term such as office equipment. Our suggestion is, as at 1st January 2022, 7-Eleven Berhad decided to transfer 25% of leasehold property under operating lease to finance lease with the fair value of 11,168,500 ringgit Malaysia. The economic useful life is 12 years and leased to customer for a lease term of 10 years. The payment is 13,000 ringgit and payable at the end of each year. The working are as follow. For the financial statement before and after for both adjustment, we can see that the lease expenses are higher under operating lease. After the adjustment, we can see that the number of expenses are reduced. Not more than that, the company also incurred revenue after the disposal of the furniture. That's all for me. Thank you.